Hello everyone, hope you're doing fine. In this tutorial we will cover arrays. So let's start. First go to create and create a C# script and name it arrays tutorial or whatever you like. Okay. So before we write the code, imagine that you want to have a group of a group of variables which are with the same type of variables. For example, when you want to create a character, you were writing char and you were saying name the variable like my char, and then you give it a inside the double quote. So this variable just can hold one one character or one variable, not so many characters. So what if you want to have more than one character? For that purpose, in order to create a group of characters, or in one word we can say array of characters, we can say char, and then you use this and then the name my char array, and then in order to write the variables which are supposed to be inside this array one by one inside this, and in the end you should put semicolon. So inside this you should write what characters you have. For example, we can say we have an A and then a comma, we have like T, then a comma, and this sign or a number, maybe let's say a number we put, or even this sign. Okay, take into consideration that you should have single quote in order to represent this character array. So let's say that we want to have an array of game objects and we want to call their names. So for that reason you should create, let's say we want to have an array or a group of enemies and we want to call their name one by one. So we want to know the enemies' names. So for that reason we should write the type, which is the game object, and then we should put these two, and then we should write the name enemies. And here we can say that we can write it like this, but another convenient way is to say new like game object, yes, and then semicolon. This will create the array, but we need to give it a size. We can say that the size is 1, but we can increase it later if we make it public. Now the game object, the array, is private, but if we make it public and save it and come back to Unity, before we see the game object here, we can create an empty game object, name it manager, and then connect this script to our game manager. Here you can see enemies, and you can see this arrow next to it. It represents that this is an array here, and when we open it, it says that the size is 1, and we need to add or connect the game objects like enemies to our array. So we can increase the size. I put it for the default to be 1, but we can increase it, like we can make it 4 and then press tab, and you can see that it increased the size of the enemies, and now we can connect 4 enemies to our enemies array. So let's create the enemies. Let's go to create 3D objects and create one cube enemy, one sphere enemy, one capsule enemy, and one cylinder enemy. Let's go back to manager and connect the cube enemy and sphere enemy and capsule enemy and cylinder enemy. Go back to script, and here now what we want to do is we want to know the name of the enemies during the game. So for that reason we need to create a for loop. We have to write for, and then we need to write the iterator variable, which is I, and it should start with 0. Take into consideration that every array starts with like 0. The indexing in order to call the array object is not 1, 2, 3. It is 0, 1, 2, 3. Yes, the size of this array is 4, but it starts with 0. The first one index is 0, the second one is 1, the third one is 2, the fourth one is 3. So let's go back to for loop, and that's why we start the iterator from 0, and then it should go until 4, but not equal to. You should not write this, because if you count it, it will be 0, 1, 2, 3, and then it should increase one by one. Now here inside the for loop we need to print the name of the enemies. So for that reason we can say debug.log, and then here inside the debug log we can say enemies, and when you write the enemy's name you have to give it the index, which enemy you want it to print. So since it should start from 0, we can write I. So the loop starts with 0. It will print enemy, the first enemy, which its index is 0, and then 1, and then 2, and then 3, and then you should press dot. This will give you the opportunity to write name and call the name of the enemy, and then close the debug log function, and then semicolon. Save the script, go back to Unity, and let's see if it will print the name of the enemies for us. So press play, and then go to console, and you can see cube, sphere, capsule, cylinder printed here. Thanks for watching. Hope you understand how to use arrays.